Getting older isn't in my top 10 list of things I like about life. It usually means there's less energy, there's more wrinkles, there's a pain here and there. And it's only natural that we want to fight all that. But most men after 40 focus on completely the wrong things, like they see their growing midriff and they go for the latest fad diet. Or their arms go flabby and they sign up for the gym, which is great. But then most guys quit again after a few months. And in the meantime, aging is dragging you down by the balls one day at a time. I'm 57 now, and if I could send a note back to my 40-something-year-old self, I'd probably tell myself about 3 hidden aging accelerators that most men are completely unaware of. So if you want to change your aging trajectory and preserve your health, your muscle, and your energy for as long as possible, then take a few minutes and watch this video, because I'm going to break down what these 3 aging accelerators are. I'm also going to tell you what you can do right now, like today, to minimize the damage that they do. Now, before we go into this, think of your car for a minute. Most men treat their cars better than their bodies, which is why there's likely more shiny old cars out there than there's shiny old dudes. But okay, that's of course up for debate. Anyway, let's imagine something a little crazy. Imagine you walk up to your car, you lift the bonnet, and you pour a jar of sticky maple syrup over the hinges, into the filters, and onto other parts of the engine. If you did that on a regular basis, the hinges would of course get all gummed up, and some pipes would get clogged up and narrow on the inside. Now, in a way, we do exactly that to our bodies when we eat a carb-heavy diet on a regular basis, which leads to a process called glycation, and that's the first of the 3 accelerators that makes us age fast. Now, glycation happens when the sugar molecules in your blood clump together with proteins and eventually form what's called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs for short. Now, that's a natural process and we can't really change that. But if we are on a diet that's constantly high in refined sugars and in ultra-processed foods, or especially also charred foods from the barbecue, or charred food from your frying pan, then we turbocharge that process. And that's when things become a bit like pouring syrup into your engine, meaning that these AGEs make your blood vessels narrow, they make them stiffer, they make the collagen in your skin less elastic and speed up sagging skin and wrinkles, and they also affect your DNA repair system. And all that makes you age faster. Now, slowing that down is really quite simple. It's all about blood sugar control, and that, at the very least, means not to dump a lot of carbs into your system all at once. And make sure you get lots of protein and fiber with your meals. And here's one immediate simple thing you could do today. So starting with your next lunch or dinner, eat your salad or your veggies before you eat your carbs. Because if you do that, the fiber you get from those vegetables forms a physical mesh in the gut. And that means that the carbs that come in later get absorbed much more slowly, which leads to a lower blood sugar spike. Now, that's not going to eliminate glycation, but research shows us that it'll soften the impact over time. And that means that you'll take your foot off of one of the 3 aging accelerators. All right, let's get back to your car and let's indulge in another crazy thought for a minute. Imagine you can jump into your car at every opportunity, like that's week after week or month after month, and to constantly rev the engine, just to make a bit of noise or impress the bloke next door. Would you? Well, I bet some of you petrol heads actually would, but let's just agree that it's not a good idea, because over time, the constant revving would, of course, wear out the engine and other parts much faster. But many of us do something like that to our bodies by being in a constant revved up, switched on kind of mode. And that leads to chronic low-grade inflammation, which is the second of the 3 aging accelerators. Now, inflammation, again, is a natural process. It's the body's response to an emergency, like when we fight an infection. But when it constantly buzzes in the background, it'll start damaging healthy cells in your body, and it makes your tissues and your organs wear out faster. And that means faster aging. There's a lot of things you can do to keep your body in that state, like smoking, eating a lot of junk food on a regular basis. But I actually want to focus on a factor that's really relevant for most guys in their 40s and 50s, and that's chronic psychological stress. Because in those 2 decades of our lives, we have careers to maintain. We've got a family often to look after. Definitely have responsibilities, right? And that means that many of us keep on revving, and we're going to age faster as a result. A bit of a dilemma, I guess, because most of us can't just go and retire, right? But there's a few things that you can do. Exercising is one of them because A, it's a real stress buster, and B, because inactivity is actually a key driver of inflammation. If you want to take some immediate action, here's something you can do. So go to the supermarket and get yourself a bottle of good quality extra virgin olive oil and on top of high-quality omega-3 capsules. And some fatty fish if you like, some salmon maybe, or some sardines, because all of these contain the kind of fatty acids that really help tone down chronic inflammation. And there's a lot of clinical research that backs that up, like this research paper here, which summarizes the findings of 26 separate studies, all confirming the association between omega-3 fatty acids and lower levels of inflammation. Okay, back to the car, and now imagine you are the car. And because you've been on the road for over 40 years, you'll naturally have accumulated a bit of mileage. The engine's still good, but it gives you less power and it doesn't burn your fuel as efficiently as it did back in the day. Now, the older we get, the more our bodies are like that car. And the one major reason is the third aging accelerator we're up against, and that's mitochondrial dysfunction. So once again, it's a natural thing, and it means that the power components inside your cells, the mitochondria, just aren't as good as producing energy as they used to be. So we have less energy, more fatigue, and we gradually start moving like an older person. Now, if that's your thing, then please, smoking, triple cheese nachos, alcohol, ice cream, sitting around, just do a lot of that and you'll get there faster. But if you want to take some preventative action, here's what you need to know. Mitochondria respond to both physical demand and to a lack of it. Now, when you sit at work all day and then you sit on the sofa in the evenings with your beer and your nachos, they will decline in numbers and efficiency fast. But give them movement and they actually increase in numbers and efficiency. And that's called mitochondrial biogenesis. And it does happen reliably if you exercise, no matter at what age you start. So the immediate action you could take here is to just Google your local gym, go to the sign-up page and just take the plunge. There's plenty of randomized trials and other research telling us that regular exercise makes a huge difference and is one of the biggest decelerators of aging that we know of. So there you go. The simple fact is that you can take action to slow down your rate of aging by toning down 3 accelerators: glycation, chronic low-grade inflammation, and mitochondrial dysfunction. And if you do take action, you could really change the aging trajectory you're on. And with that, stay fit, healthy, energetic, capable, independent, preserve your muscle, you name it, for much longer.